Hello, everybody. I am so jazzed about this video. I'll introduce myself and my friend Elise first. Me and Elise have been in, we've had some great ideas through the years, and started the Healing Mama Hearts site, and that was in particularly around the time of the COVID years. I think wasn't it, Elise, or was that before the COVID thing? I think it was around that time. And more than anything, we noticed that the women that are having babies really needed the support of other women. And I remember Elise saying something similar to this. Women need their tribe. And it seems like with the way COVID was and everything, we were separated. And even social media didn't really feel like it was your tribe at that point. And so we organized a Healing Mama Hearts site and support for women with postpartum depression. So I also coach people with relationships and depression, anxiety. And so we had already set up a Healing Mama Hearts. And our goal was to have an actual facility, a place that women and a mom and a baby could come and just get healing. And they could get the hormones that they needed and the healthy food, and also coaching with the negative thoughts that they've had or that they're dealing with and different things. The problem is as I coach people and as I was getting into it and everything, I just kept feeling like how do we take apart the generator, so to speak, that was generating these negative thoughts deep inside of a person? Like, I mean, you could say to a mom, you are doing so good and you are so important in your family and you are, a beautiful, amazing person, and it just wouldn't sink in because their negative thoughts were coming out as quick as you could put anything in there or help them to see their worth and their greatness. And so when I stumbled upon Marinna and the work that she does, and she's been doing this same kind of work since 1999, and it just rocked my world because it felt like the completeness of what Elise and I had been talking about and working towards. It felt like that Marinna was giving me hope about having a generator within that's actually could generate those positive feelings and the compassion that I really wanted to see with people. So Marinna has been working at it. And I joke and say that she was playing at it since 1999. So
there were times I worked really hard at it, though, Janet. And it didn't serve me to work that hard. But yeah.
And that is so. And so this formula that Marinna is sharing with us is so. I mean, it just fell into my lap, but it was quite a thing for her to discover this. And you can find more of her on YouTube and Rumble. And pretty soon she'll be everywhere, and you can just tap into her wealth and the things that she's learned. And it's been bits and pieces, hasn't it, Marinna, here and there, and then your own inspiration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you want me to go into that at all?
Yeah, go ahead. And then we're going to start this process with Elise finding the core story. And then the next video or the next part will be the liberation. Go ahead, Marinna.
Awesome. So yeah, the first thing I jumped into was energy work, right? So I started with energy work. And then what that did is that reopened my intuition that I had shut down as a child. And so then I jumped it, like this whole world of intuition opened up. So then I jumped into intuition and started supporting myself and other people with whatever their guides were telling them, right? And then I found I started doing a training, and that was more the healing work, right? And I started healing my own wounds from childhood. And that was, oh gosh, that was in 2001 that I started doing that. And so then I jumped into that whole world for a while. And then I don't know, was it in 2006 I joined the Hendricks Institute, and that's where I studied with two of the top leading relationship experts of the world, which I am like eternally grateful for them. They changed my entire viewpoint on relationships altogether. Like, I don't see relationships even half the way I used to, right? So
Yeah.
then I started teaching immediately. I'm like, I love this stuff so much. I'm bringing it to Utah, and we're going to start teaching. So me and a friend who was also doing the training with me started teaching at that point in 2006. So we started teaching, and then at that same point, I started coaching as well. And I did that up until 5 years ago. And that's when all of this deeper, it was like it was almost like I was plateaued, right? And I was just kind of doing my thing, but it just wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't advancing. And then something happened that changed my life forever. And it was in the form of emotion, right? I thought I was like, oh, I'm so good at feeling emotion. Let's do this thing. And then it was almost like a tsunami of shame. Let's put it that way. A tsunami of shame, just like, right? And I was still trying to teach and coach at the time. And it was like, holy cow, everything I'm saying is like, don't look at me. Everything I didn't say was like, don't look at me, because I had all this shame bubbling up. And so I stopped teaching, I stopped coaching, I stopped everything so that I could deal with that shame. And I did. And my guide, my spirit guide, guided me through that. And through that process, this is why I don't feel like this is my process. This was channeled through me, right? This was given to me. And I was taught it so firsthand that I just, every time like somebody will say, well, it's your work. And I'm like, yeah, it's my work, but it came through me. I was inspired with this work, right? And it helped me so much to be able to deal with that shame and uncover my own core story and deal with it so directly that it was like all the layers of the onion. Know how everybody talks about an onion, and you gotta, in order to do this inner work, you gotta peel off all the layers and peel off all the layers. Well, yeah, that's true, but there's faster ways of doing that, right? There's faster ways. And if you can go to the core, this is kind of like drilling a hole in the onion, and you go to the core and then you peel it from this way, and it's lots faster. It's like a boom, boom, right? And those layers come off really fast. So that's what I did for the last 5 years. I've been doing that, and it's gotten, of course, my life's gotten way better, and I don't deal with the shame like I did, and a lot of my stories just started falling away, like, and my life just got better and better and better and better. And then
Yeah.
here I am teaching again and supporting people again, and ready to give this work to the world. So I just feel so grateful to you, Janet. You've been such a big, um, what's the word, launching pad for this for me.
I'm promoting you because I've seen what I feel like I've scratched the surface in my own core story and debunked some things that have been generating in my own self that is just, why didn't I know this a long time ago when I was raising kids? Oh my gosh, I would have been a whole different parent. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna basically observe you working with Elise, and that'll help me with what I do as well, be able to observe that
And
firsthand.
part of the reason that we wanted to do this was to give other people a visual experience of what it looks like to actually go in and discover that core story, face it, look at it, and then also get the tools and skills of knowing how to liberate yourself from that story.
So I need to add one thing, and I think that we need to be really careful, because if we're in the middle of kind of like asking the questions and getting down to the middle of it, and if Elise, if you are like, I just don't know, and sometimes Marinna's told me that sometimes you won't get, I mean, maybe you won't get to the bottom of it in this video.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
That's
It's
okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. What matters more is that we interrupt the mechanism, and we'll get into that, and it might not mean anything to people yet, but that actually matters more than actually getting to the core belief you made up. They all stem from it anyway. So, yeah, we're going to take you as deep as you're ready to go today. And it's okay, because what happens is a lot of people don't get to the core first time around. And then they'll be going on in their life and they start noticing everything. And then they drop deeper, and then they drop deeper, and they drop deeper until pretty soon they're at their core and they're like, oh, this is my core. And then other people can go there like that. So,
yeah,
just never know.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you, Elise, for being willing to do this. I'm so grateful. I feel so grateful for your willingness to do this, because this, I think, could really bless a lot of people. A lot of people.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay, awesome. So let's jump in and get started then. We all ready?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I feel like I'm getting ready to play.
I'm glad to see you drink out of a bottle too. We can be friends.
It's so much better than a glass. It holds so much more.
We can be friends now.
Okay. All right. So to get started, Elise, I'm going to walk you through a visualization.
Okay.
So what I'm going to ask is that you just get really comfortable, sit in your chair, relax, and have access to your breath in your belly. Okay. Okay. So go ahead and close your eyes and start breathing into your belly. And with every breath, I'm going to ask that you sink deeper into your chair. So now in your mind's eye, I invite you to see yourself walking on a path. And this path is beautiful. You feel safe, you feel comfortable walking on this path. So just walk this path and enjoy it for a minute. And pretty soon you come to the top of a staircase. And before you go down, I've got some things I want to tell you. What's going to happen when you go down is you're going to go backwards in time. And you're going to get younger and younger and younger until you reach the bottom. And when you're at the bottom, you're going to be at the age that's going to carry the most information for you at this time to be able to work through this core story stuff the best. Okay, so I don't want you to try to make yourself be any age. Just allow it to naturally bubble to the surface. Okay, so when you're ready, go ahead and slowly walk down the staircase and observe yourself getting younger. When you reach the bottom, let me know.
I feel like probably just a young child, not too young, as far as memories I gotta have.
Okay, so now from here, I'm going to guide you a little bit. Okay, so just notice your body as a little child. And I'm going to invite you to call up some memories, okay? So remember what your relationship was like with your parents. And call to your mind what your relationship was like with any siblings, if you have them. And what I'm going to specifically invite your subconscious to give us is some of the challenging moments of your childhood, of this age. What was happening around you that might have been fairly challenging for you? And just think about those. You don't need to tell us about them, but just ponder them as this little child. Remind yourself. And then notice, what do you feel as this little child? What are you feeling in your body around these challenging experiences? And tune into those emotions. Okay. And keep breathing. And I'm going to ask your subconscious to bring up any verbiage that might go along with these feelings. And one of the things that happens, because kids internalize everything and make it about them, see if there's any verbiage around that you might have chosen to believe around anything that might have been wrong with you as a result of these challenges in your life. And it's okay if you don't get any words. So don't put any pressure on yourself to get any verbiage. If it comes up, great. If it doesn't, great.
Nothing specifically I remember.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. So long as you're able to tune into those feelings, that's what we want, okay? Okay, so in a minute, I'm going to have you come back up the stairs and retain any information that was given to you. Okay, this could just be body information. That's fine, no worries. So before you come up the stairs, though, what's going to happen is you're going to start coming back into this present moment. And as you do, you're going to get older and older. What I'm going to invite you to do is walk slowly up the stairs. And as you do, check in at different ages and see, did I still have the same feeling? Did I still have any of all this information, however that came through at this age? And then did I have it as I got older and as I got older? Okay. So when you're ready, go ahead and start coming up the stairs and take your time. And then just let me know when you're to the top of the stairs.
Okay.
Okay, so now you're your adult self, just as you are today. And just start noticing your body that way. And I'm going to invite you to look in today's life that you have and see if you still carry the same feelings, the same emotions, the same information. Okay. And it's okay. Like, you don't need to share it with me yet. Just notice. And gather any other information that wants to come in at this moment, because in a minute I'm going to bring you back into the space of the room. So gather whatever more information wants to be had right in this moment. And then when you're ready, take your time, but when you're ready, then go ahead and bring yourself back to the space of this room that you're in, locating your body, moving, touching your lap, your knees, reconnecting with this point in time. Okay, feel free to open your eyes when you're ready. Okay. All right. It's okay to be exactly where you are with whatever information that you received. Okay. What I'd like to do now is allow you to share whatever information wants to be shared in this moment that you feel safe to share on camera. Feel free to share whatever feels right for you to share about that experience.
Okay. I think the verbiage that is coming or that I can help describe is just kind of peculiar. I felt like a peculiar person. It seemed like, even I grew up in Utah, and it seemed like everyone there was a member of the church. And so when you're in that kind of community, everyone kind of seems to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, I made friends with people who weren't members, which was hard to find. But it made things so much more obvious that, like, the way that my family was living was different, was peculiar. And I remember inviting them to my baptism, and they didn't come. They forgot or something. So, like, I was this little girl in the car on the way to the church to get baptized, and I saw my friends that I had become friends with, and they were playing basketball, and I thought, they're not coming. you know and it made me feel like I'm different. I'm gonna be different. It's not a bad different, but it's different. And
Yeah.
the thing that I've carried on to now is, like, I'm just a very independent person. I don't need anyone else. I don't need their support. It's appreciated when I get it, but I am who I am. I don't need other people's help in a way.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Okay, so again, what children do is they internalize everything, make it all about them, right? I'm sure you've noticed this with your own children. Like, life revolves around this person. And they almost don't even have a concept of, oh, what's that person feeling over there, right? Because it so revolves around them. And so what we do as a little child is we tend to believe things about us that isn't true, and it actually is very subconscious, and so we don't even know we're believing these things. Okay. And what happens is, these big experiences in our life happen like this, and we will believe something but not even know we've believed it, and then we tuck it away deep down into our psyche, and then we have actions that come from that. Okay, so what I'd like to do is help you discover some verbiage for those unconscious words that might be swimming around inside of your psyche. Okay, so I've got a paper there that says something like core judgments, a handout for you. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is to circle any of those that you might think would be like a fit for like a match for the feeling that you felt when you were a kid or that you're still feeling today, right? As well as any of the judgments you've actually thought about yourself.
If I filled that paper out for you, Elise, it would be nothing. Nothing would be circled. When I filled it out for me, I was like, what the heck? I just need to highlight this whole thing.
And you may have words that come up to you as you're doing this that I don't have on that page. Please write them down in the empty spaces that's available for you.
Okay.
It's amazing how much we have so many more judgments of ourselves than other people do of us.
Okay. I kind of went over it before this, but I was trying to really look and see, because bring that core memory up, what could be a core judgment from that memory.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that really stood out to me is alone.
Okay.
Sometimes I see people who have these like best friend friendships where they are exclusively friends with only each other and nobody else, and they do everything together and they think the same and they do the same, and they just are, you're like, wow, they have a really cool connection. I've got friends. Janet's one of my best friends, but we have other things to do. We have other lives, and it's not so much that I don't feel cared for, because I know I can call any of my friends and say, hey, I need help, and they would be there right there. It's more so like doting on, like, and like that, like someone that always wants to be with me. I feel like I'm always reaching out to others to get friendship or get attention, or if I want to go somewhere, I don't feel like I get invited out to things very often. If I go do something with a friend, I'm the one that reaches out. And so that's something that probably connects best with that core memory, is that if I don't physically make the effort to reach out, I can very easily be lonely, because I could stay here and nobody would reach out.
And it feels like there's a little sadness surrounding this piece.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's that, yeah, it's just different though. It's not that I don't have friends, because I could reach out to and they love me, and I know that. It's that maybe it's a longing to have somebody that always thinks of you. And my husband has been that, but that's almost different too. Like he's supposed to feel that way toward me. I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Okay. Do you have your permission to push you a little deeper?
Sure.
So that alone one's great. So write that down somewhere. Okay. Write that word down, because that feels important. Okay. So write that word down first, and then I'm going to push you a little bit deeper.
Okay.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to push you into the realm of judgment. Okay. And what I'm going to invite is the worst possible thing to come up in your mind. Okay. Because sometimes we'll want to keep it more surface, and I'm asking you to dive deep into the ugly. Okay. So what could possibly be wrong with someone, why they don't have this connection?
Word it differently.
Okay. If someone is alone and they don't have this deep connection, like you see other people have it, right?
Okay.
Are they doing something right to have that? You know what I'm saying? Your logical mind could go, no, it isn't about that, blah, blah, blah. I'm asking you to go to the unlogical mind, right? And go to that place of like, oh, well, what's wrong with me? Why I can't have it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In terms of what's wrong with them, what am I doing that could be
Either what are you doing, or what's wrong with me, or why can't I have that? Right? Like that's the avenue I'm going to push you down into, because this feels like it's in the subconscious. So I want to see if we can get in there and see what it is, because these things happen when we're so little and we don't have words for it. So now we're trying to find words for this feeling we've been feeling our whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So just see if there's any kind of words or judgments or anything like that come up around this piece. And it's okay if they don't worry about it, Elise. It's all right. Because we can work from it from this point too.
Well, as I was coming back up through the stairs, high school, I had two best friends, but I was almost, in a lack of better word, betrayed by them. They actually both ended up getting pregnant and having babies, one during my sophomore year and then the other one during my senior year. And I was no longer their priority. I was their priority for so long, and then I was just put aside because this new thing for them is happening and I'm not part of it. And I don't know, it's just connection and loyalty is those things that I desire. That's like,
Yeah.
they have that best friend that just sticks by them no matter what. But I've never had someone, and to have someone else call me a best friend.
Yeah.
I've never had someone exclusively say, well, I did in high school, but they both decided something else was more important.
So can you see the feeling that's all around this? So underneath the feeling is a belief, a story that you bought into. Okay. What is that? So maybe just get curious and sit with it for a minute. What is the story that's underneath that feeling of why you can't have this or why you didn't get to have this?
It's not like to me, it would be like someone would say, oh, maybe you don't feel worthy enough, but I definitely feel worthy enough. I feel like I would give just as much to the friendship, but it's, I don't know, a connection, really. There's no connection. There's not a strong enough connection, or
Okay, good. So there's not a strong enough connection. Why?
it almost feels like when best friends find each other, it's a soulmate kind of thing. Like it's an unspoken connection.
Okay.
And I don't.
And you don't have that. Okay, why? Why don't you have that?
That's the I don't know, because it almost feels like spiritual or unseen, or like I don't know how to get it.
Okay, great. Okay, good. This is so perfect. I don't know how to get it. Unseen. Write these words down. And then I'm going to push you a little bit deeper. This is perfect. Okay. So this is, again, it's like in your subconscious. Can you feel how this is touching into deeper places? See if you can go into that deeper place of now go into that place that you just said, those words that you just wrote down. Go into the feeling of that. And then it's like, okay, so why can't I have that? Why do I feel unseen? Why do I go deeper into that and see if there's more words underneath that? Why can't you have that soul connection? Why can't you be seen at that level?
I don't know.
Okay. So it's okay to not know. And it's okay to move on from here, which that's probably what I'm just going to do. And what I'm going to say is, as you're living your day, what I would invite is to keep wondering about it. Keep wondering. We don't need to figure this out. If it's in the subconscious, it's better not to try to figure it out, really. Okay? Because you want that natural awareness to come through, and when it does, it's going to open up all kinds of stuff inside of you. Okay, so we can move on from here, and that's what I want to do. Just be aware, keep a notepad handy, whatever you want to do, so that this awareness can keep bubbling up, and keep asking the question like, ooh, what's this? What's deeper? What's the story underneath? And so for the people who are watching this, there is a story that's deeper than this, and that's okay not to get to it. If you're following along doing your own process, it's okay not to get to it. As you keep going on the process, it will start to unfold if you get curious. Okay? There might be a reason that you're not quite there yet to be able to have it come up from your subconscious. and that's okay.
Okay.
Okay. So let's take it from here. And what I want to use is the unseen. What was the other word you put down?
I don't know how.
I don't know how to get it. I don't know how to get it, and unseen and alone. Those 3 words are the words we're going to use. Okay.
Okay.
So now what happens is that we want something, right? So what is it that you're wanting? That connection. You said connection several times.
Mhm.
That being seen, like, what are your words? What is it you really, really, really want? And there's a whole paper there, if you know, to help you come up with words, but I
Uh,
want your words specifically.
Loyalty is the word that comes up to me.
Loyalty. And it feels like a deeper connection than like loyalty of your husband or loyalty of like Janet. It's like a really deep thing that you really, really want. And is
Mhm.
loyalty the word that says all that to you? Or is there more than one? Loyalty and connection, like deep connection, soul connection?
Yeah, soul connection, loyalty, just being understood in a non-judgmental way.
Okay. Okay, great. So I kind of missed a little part where I have you take one of your handouts up there that you have is got the top part of it says the core story and the bottom part is the liberation formula. In
Okay.
the core story piece, there's 3 boxes. In the bottom box, put in what it is you really want.
Okay, sorry, I don't know. I've only got 3 pages. Is that
No,
Oh,
it's okay. You can totally do this on a notepad. So don't even worry about it.
Mhm.
Do you have a notepad?
I could just turn my paper over? Yeah.
Oh, good. Perfect. Turn your paper over and
Okay.
you're writing these down anyway, so it's not a big deal. Wherever it is you've been writing them down. I was just going to have you jot it down in a certain way because then I have a handout specifically for this and it just helps us formulate the questions better, or the sentence better.
Okay.
So, okay, so you've written down what it is you really are wanting, correct?
Okay.
Okay.
Let me get it.
I just sent the first 3 papers over. That was the core story, the judgment, the what you really, really want, and your mechanisms. I could send something real quick if I need to, other than that.
I have another handout, which is the one with the core story on top and the liberation formula on the bottom, and then one of
Uh-huh.
just the second step in the liberation formula. So those are the other 2.
Okay.
But we can totally do it without them.
Okay.
So, okay. So now you have to some degree the words for the feelings that you felt. Okay. We have alone, we have unseen, and then we have what it is you really are wanting, which is that soul connection, that loyalty, all those words that you put down. Okay. So now when we're small and our brains are developing, there's we start to make up some of these stories, right? About like, oh no, I'm alone. Oh no, like my friends are off doing that without me and they're not supporting me. Like there's these things that come up, right? And so then we make up, I have to do something now to make sure that I get this thing over here that I really want. The connection, the love, it's always going to be some form of love, but we always have our own verbiage for it and our own flavor of it. Okay. So then what happens is the action, we like, oh, well, I better do blah, 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 so that I can try to get this. Okay. And that's what I'm calling the mechanism, is the actions that we try to do to get this thing. So I'm going to ask you what actions or inactions, because sometimes the mechanism looks like, well, I can't have it anyway, so why even try? I'll just make myself happy, or I'll just You know what I mean? Not need that. Right? So those can
Right.
be mechanisms too. So I'm going to ask you now to take a look at what mechanisms did you choose to take on throughout your life to try to get this connection. And there's a whole paper on that. So go ahead and circle whichever ones match. And if they aren't there, then add your own.
So the ones that come to mind are that I just take charge. I decide, okay, well, if people aren't gonna reach out to me and invite and bring me into their group or into their friendship, then I'll just create my own. So I just take charge. I invite people to activities. I plan activities and ask people to come, and they're always so happy to come, and we enjoy it and have fun together. But as soon as it's done, that's it's done, you
Yeah.
know? And
Yeah.
so I
And
fill it with,
it's not satisfying, is it? Like it doesn't satisfy. I mean, it's fun, but it doesn't satisfy that deep place that you're wanting satisfied.
yep.
Yeah, got it. So I'll tell you why. It's because you're doing it from mechanism. So the action's fine, right? And action has probably served you a lot in your life, right?
Mhm.
It has helped you at least have friends and different things like that. Like it's brought you a lot. It helped you survive as a child. This
Mhm.
action. It helped you survive as a teenager. It helped you survive as an adult. So have you written this down? Write this down.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So the problem is that when we do an action from mechanism, it always ends in self-sabotage. Always. So you're taking this action where you like, okay, well, I'm just going to take charge of my own happiness. And that feels like a positive thing, right? Which it can be a positive thing, but it's coming from a place of, I don't have it. So therefore, it's coming from lack. Okay.
Mhm.
Which is actually not the truth. And so then the action comes from that to try to get what you think you really want, but you're not going to get it because it's coming from a lie. It's not coming from the truth. It's not coming from your essence. Okay. If that same action came from your essence, it would actually produce different results. Okay. But because it's not, you're not getting what you really want. Okay.
So
Go
Marinna,
ahead.
can you explain that a little bit better? If it's not something from essence, something that you literally, that's not a lie, you're not trying to get anything. Say she just wants to invite me over there because she wants more time with me and I want more time with her. How is that compared to a mechanism? Is it just all in the intention?
It is in the intention, but sometimes that intention can be very subconscious and we don't even know, right? So we could, like, maybe Elise could invite you over from that same place of like, yeah, I'm just really wanting a deep connection today, right? I'm just feeling like that need for that or want for that or whatever. And she might be conscious of it or she might be unconscious of it. And she invites you over and it was fun and we laughed and we had a good time, but then she still feels empty.
Okay.
Okay. And this happens. This is such a really good example because the mechanism is such an innocent mechanism. It's so precious, right? It's such a perfect example for that because that's our mechanisms are. They just want to get us love. And it's so precious, but it doesn't work. It absolutely doesn't work when we're trying to get it from outside of ourselves. And that's the difference. That's the key.
And
Okay.
I think it's also like sometimes I do just plan activities because I want to go do them, or I want someone to come over to help with something, and that's totally the sole purpose of it. But there are times when like I'm feeling that
Mm-hmm.
lack of connection.
Yeah.
Especially if I see others with it. So I'll go to the gym and I'll see these little bosom buddies working out together, and I'm like, oh, you know, I
Yeah.
want I want someone that's like gonna push me and be better with me and all that stuff, you know.
Yep.
So I don't think it's like we don't always use the mechanism. So
No,
if I
you
am
don't.
over, it's not just because of that subconscious, but there is time where it's bubbled up and I'm like, look at them. I want that. Or, you
Yeah.
know, I'll see poetry about a best friend is always there for you. And I'm like,
Yeah, we absolutely don't always use it in mechanism.
right.
It's really not about the action. It's about the come from. It's so the question then lies in, well, how can we have all of our actions come from essence versus mechanism, because it is so unsatisfying when it's from mechanism, right? How can it come from essence? And the first thing is we've got to first be aware of it, right? And most of us aren't even aware of this. Or I don't know how, a lot of us aren't aware of this. So what I'd like to do now is to help you formulate your core story into a sentence so that it's easy to remember what's not working, so that we can then jump into the liberation formula and hopefully have a breakthrough in this
Okay.
area. Okay? So we want to, I wish I would have thought to pull up my 3 questions or my 3 things. I had just written this down, darn it. Oh well, I'm just going to try to fly off the cuff. So the first part of your core story is going to look something like, I'm unseen, I don't have the best friend, like some verbiage like that, right? I don't have what I'm really looking for. So write that down however you want to first. So
Okay.
okay, so you've got that first phrase. So do you mind reading that to me?
Best thing I could come up with was I don't have an all mine best friend.
Oh, I love it.
Hmm.
Yeah, just yours. That's perfect. Okay. So then the next part of it will be the mechanism piece. So I do this, and what is that you do, right? So I seek it out in others. I try to get it, like how would you word the mechanism? What would fit in this
I,
sentence?
I invite people to be that. I
Mm-hmm.
give
I,
people the opportunity, but I don't feel like I can force them.
right, right.
Like it almost feels fake if I try to tell someone else that they're my best friend. If I
Yeah.
say you're my best friend, it almost feels clingy or
Mm-hmm.
taking it away from their decision to make.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Could you word it something like, so I put myself out there to try to create that with somebody else or something like that? Yeah, you do it in your own words because this is your stuff, right? I want you to be able to recognize it when it shows up.
Okay. I invite others to fulfill that role.
Oh, perfect. Perfect, perfect. Okay. But I still don't seem to get, and remember those words that we use for what it is you're really wanting. That deep soul connection, that whatever your words are.
Okay.
Okay. So do you mind reading the sentence?
But I still don't get that loyal connection.
Perfect. Now read the whole sentence together and see how that flows and feels inside of you if that rings true for you.
Okay. I don't have an all mine best friend. I invite others to fulfill that role, but I still don't get that loyal connection.
Yep. Perfect. Okay. So this for right now is what I would say is your core story, this entire thing. Okay. And over time, you will find that this goes a little deeper than I don't have that all mine best friend. Okay. Because there's going to be a something that you made up of why you don't have that. But that's in your subconscious and it'll come up when it's ready. Okay. But that doesn't matter because we don't even really need it at this point. It'll come up when you do need it. Okay.